All right, lads, welcome to the channel. You've just witnessed Cole Palmer's ice-cold journey, from being kicked out of a posh dealership to becoming Chelsea's absolute baller. But listen, this is just the beginning. If you love the story, hit that subscribe button right now because we've got plenty more where that came from. Now here's the deal. This channel isn't just about telling stories, it's about you. Drop your comments below. Tell us what you thought, who else you'd like stories about, or even what new scenarios you'd love to see Cole Palmer in. The crazier the better. So get involved, join the community, and let's build something massive together. And trust me, lads, what we've got coming next will blow your mind. Catch you in the comments. All right, lads, let's set the scene. Imagine Manchester, rainy day, obviously, and you've got a kid kicking a ball against a wall, picturing himself scoring the winner at the Etihad. That's our man, Cole Palmer. From 8 years old, Palmer was City through and through, born and bred. Academy training, early mornings, late evenings, the full Monty. You could practically see the blue blood flowing through his veins. But like most young ballers, Palmer had to deal with one major obstacle, standing out in a team absolutely stacked with talent. Now, don't get me wrong, Palmer was mustard from day one. Technique, silky, vision, like De Bruyne Jr., goals for fun. But when you're at a club like Man City, being good just isn't enough. He watched lads around him, Phil Foden and later Rico Lewis, make their mark. Meanwhile, Palmer had to wait, patient, calm, ice-cold, like his celebration. The club, lifting trophies, and becoming a legend. But football's brutal, isn't it? One day you're scoring worldies in youth games. The next, you're warming a first-team bench, wondering if you'll ever get your chance. Cole Palmer found himself right there week after week, quietly waiting for Pep Guardiola to glance his way to say, "Cole, you're in." Eventually, Cole got a sniff here and there, bagging a few goals in cup games and showcasing flashes of brilliance. But it still wasn't enough. Every new signing at City pushed him further down the pecking order. Palmer, though, never complained. No social media tantrums, no agent rants, just hard graft. Just working in silence like a proper professional. And here's where it gets interesting. Because inside this quiet, polite kid was something else entirely. Pure ambition. He knew deep down that he belonged at the top. Every rejection, every sub-appearance, every snub from Guardiola, it was just fuel to the fire. In the back of his mind, he stored every moment, every feeling, every frustration, knowing someday he'd prove himself. Fast forward to summer 2023, and Palmer had enough. Not angry, not bitter, just realistic. When Chelsea came knocking, offering him regular first-team football, Palmer knew this was his moment. It was painful. Walking away from his boyhood club wasn't easy. But he knew that to become the player he was destined to be, he had to make that leap. So he left City behind. Not as a quitter, but as a lad with something huge to prove. The world had no idea what was coming next, and neither did Palmer, really. But one thing was clear. He wasn't just leaving Man City, he was about to become a superstar. And trust me, what happens next is absolutely cold-blooded. Now picture this. Cole Palmer, Chelsea's rising star, has started making serious waves in London. He's been scoring goals, creating assists, basically tearing the league apart. After weeks of training, playing, and generally bossing it, Palmer decides it's finally time to treat himself. You know how it is. Young player, new club, nice paychecks rolling in. It's time for a dream car, right? So Palmer strolls down to one of those super fancy car dealerships in West London. I'm talking Ferraris, Lambos, Bentleys, the kind of cars most of us only drive on FIFA. Palmer, though, is humble as ever. Turns up casual, hoodie, jeans, trainers. No flash, no designer gear, just a regular lad ready to buy his first proper whip. But here's the thing, and you already know it. Sometimes appearance is everything. Palmer walks in, and straight away he feels eyes on him. Staff glancing, whispering, wondering if he's lost or if he's there for an Instagram pic. Palmer shrugs it off. He's used to being underestimated. Then enters our villain, the dealership manager. Slick suit, hair gelled back, fake smile, the full car salesman package. He approaches Palmer, barely hiding his annoyance. "You all right, mate?" the manager asks, clearly thinking, here's another kid wasting our time. Palmer, being the polite lad he is, calmly explains he's interested in looking at cars. Seriously interested, money ready. But the manager, he's already made up his mind. He sees Palmer's casual clothes and immediately jumps to conclusions. "Listen, mate," he says, a condescending grin spreading on his face. "These aren't the kind of cars you take for a spin around the block, yeah? Maybe try a second-hand place." Palmer tries again, insists he's serious. Money isn't an issue, but the manager laughs it off thinking it's some joke. "Look, I'm doing you a favor," he says, waving dismissively. "You're probably better off elsewhere." By now, Palmer's getting annoyed, but he's ice cold. No shouting, no arguing, just that same calm face he's shown defenders week after week. Next thing he knows, security's there. Security. Imagine that. Security escorts Cole Palmer, a Premier League footballer, out of the dealership into the pouring rain. It's humiliating. Passers-by watch, filming on their phones, wondering what's going on. Outside, standing in the rain, Palmer doesn't rage, doesn't rant. He just stands there, quietly feeling the moment sink in. His fists clench slightly, his jaw tightens, but he's calm, ice-cold calm, because inside he already knows what he needs to do. He isn't angry, just motivated. In football, like life, there's always someone doubting you, underestimating you, telling you you're not good enough. Palmer has heard it all before, from academy coaches, from Guardiola, from pundits, from opposition fans. Now, from a car salesman. But guess what? That's exactly what he needed. A fresh reminder, a brand new challenge. Palmer turns, puts his hood up, and walks away into the rain. Calm, cold, determined. And let me tell you, what he does next is genuinely ice cold. Right, let's jump straight back into it. Cole Palmer's standing outside, drenched by the rain, having literally just been booted out of a posh car dealership by some jumped-up manager who didn't think he was good enough. It's a brutal moment. Imagine working your whole life, grinding day and night, getting yourself into the Premier League, only to get bounced by a guy selling motors. Madness. Palmer doesn't flip out, doesn't kick off or start shouting. Nah, he just stands there, soaking wet, eyes cold and locked forward. You know that look players get when they miss a crucial penalty or lose a final? Palmer had that look, but it wasn't defeat. It was determination, the kind of look you see on a player who's about to score a hat trick just to silence the crowd booing him. So what's running through Palmer's mind? I reckon it's probably something like, "I've been underestimated my whole life. What's new?" Because let's be honest, he's no stranger to doubt. He remembers how Guardiola kept him sidelined at City. He remembers the pundits saying Chelsea overspent. Now some car salesman decides he's not worth the time? Come on, mate. At this point, Palmer could easily let anger take over. We've all seen players lose their heads. But Cole's different. He's ice cold. This kid thrives on moments like this. He isn't driven by anger. He's driven by the need to prove people wrong. Every single doubt, every single, "you're not good enough," he's stored away and turned into pure motivation. As he stands there in the rain, people passing by notice him. A few Chelsea fans recognize him and start filming. Typical social media stuff. Palmer pays no attention. He knows how quickly narratives can change. Today, he's the lad who got kicked out of a dealership. Tomorrow, he'll be the lad everyone wants to be. Then he does something that sums up exactly why this kid is special. Instead of heading straight home, defeated, he walks calmly over to his car. Nothing flashy yet, just a modest ride, and sits inside. He checks his phone, ignoring dozens of notifications from teammates, friends, even family asking what happened. He opens one app, his banking app, and right there, in the pouring rain, he sees exactly how much his hard work has earned him. Plenty enough to buy that car, plenty enough to silence everyone. Palmer doesn't smile, doesn't show any emotion, really. He just stares at the screen, nodding slowly to himself, deciding what his next move will be. He could expose the dealership online, cause a social media meltdown. But that's not his style. Revenge isn't his game. Nah, Cole Palmer's about something much colder, much more calculated. He's thinking bigger, he's thinking louder. He's planning the kind of response that nobody, especially that manager, will ever see coming. Trust me when I say what happens next will make everyone who doubted him look very, very silly indeed. So here's Cole Palmer, sitting in his car, rain hammering down on the roof. Most lads would be furious right now, kicked out by some guy in a suit, humiliated in public, treated like nothing. But Palmer? Nah. He just sits there, completely calm, almost unnaturally composed. This is the kind of moment that separates your average Premier League player from someone special. Anyone can score a tap-in or have a good run of form, but not everyone can handle setbacks like this. Palmer's thinking deeper than most. He knows football and life are similar. One minute you're king of the world, next minute you're nobody. It's how you respond that counts. Inside his car, Palmer's mind races through his career. Every coach who didn't believe in him, every pundit who questioned if Chelsea had wasted money, every time he warmed the bench watching someone else shine. He'd been underestimated his whole life, so this wasn't exactly new. But somehow, it felt different, more personal. He pulls out his phone and sees texts popping up. Mates, teammates, fans, all reacting to videos of him being tossed out by security. Social media's buzzing, memes, banter, even a few trolls already trying to say he's just another entitled footballer who thinks he's bigger than he is. But Palmer doesn't bite. He ignores the noise and puts the phone down, taking a deep breath. See, Palmer knows exactly what people expect him to do next. Get angry, post something bitter online, maybe even confront the dealership, but he's not playing that game. That's too easy, too predictable. Palmer's whole brand is about staying cool under pressure, ice cold, remember? And this was just another test, another chance to prove he's built differently. So instead of making a fuss, Palmer does something most footballers wouldn't even think of. He starts planning his next move right there, quietly, alone, with no drama. He picks up his phone again, makes a quick call to another dealership. This one even more elite than the one he just got booted from. "Yeah, hi," he says casually. "I want to come by tomorrow and have a look. Something special, something custom." The voice on the phone recognizes him instantly. "Mr. Palmer, absolutely. We'll be ready for you." Cole hangs up, finally letting a small smile creep onto his face. But it's not smugness, it's satisfaction. Because he knows exactly what just happened. The guy at the dealership, the one who thought he wasn't good enough, had just given him all the motivation he needed. Cole Palmer doesn't shout back at critics. He silences them by achieving something bigger. He turns the engine on, wipers flicking away the rain, and pulls out onto the street. The dealership fades in his rearview mirror, the manager inside still probably laughing, clueless about what's coming. Palmer feels no bitterness, no anger, just absolute clarity. In football terms, he's just had a tough first half. Now it's halftime, and he knows exactly how to win this game. Tomorrow, he's not just getting a new car, he's making a statement, one that the whole football world is going to hear loud and clear, and trust me, you're gonna love what he does next. Next morning, Cole Palmer rolls into Chelsea's training ground. It's still early, misty London weather and all that. Most of the lads aren't even in yet. But Palmer's already out on the pitch, boots on, ball at his feet. You know exactly what's going through his mind. He's thinking about yesterday, the disrespect, the embarrassment at that dealership. But he's not thinking angry thoughts. Instead, he's visualizing the best possible revenge. Success. Minutes later, his teammates begin arriving. They spot Palmer out on the pitch, working harder than anyone. Sterling, Mudryk, Enzo, even Thiago Silva. Every one of them notices something different. Palmer's always been dedicated, but today he's on another level. He's absolutely relentless, pinging balls into the net, sprinting drills like a madman, tackling dummies with the sort of aggression normally reserved for match days. It's clear he's training with a purpose. Conor Gallagher jogs over, eyebrow raised. "Mate, what's gotten into you?" Palmer shrugs, not missing a beat. "Just making sure no one underestimates me again." His teammates laugh it off, not knowing the full story yet, but they respect it. Footballers know that sometimes something happens off the pitch that lights a fire on it. Whatever happened, Palmer's determined to channel it into something massive. Throughout the session, Palmer is everywhere. Coaches shouting praise, teammates watching in admiration. He's absolutely bossing it. Meanwhile, across social media, videos from yesterday are still circulating. Twitter's filled with people talking rubbish about Palmer, mocking the incident, suggesting he got put in his place. Yet Palmer stays ice cold, ignoring it all, channeling every bit of negativity into extra energy. After training, he's in the gym. Weights, cardio, stretching, the full package. His teammates leave, but he stays, finishing each rep with pure focus. Even Mauricio Pochettino notices something's different. The gaffer stops by, nodding approvingly, quietly impressed with his players' newfound intensity. "Keep training like this," Poch says casually, "and no one can touch you." Palmer nods. "That's exactly the plan, boss." When Palmer finally leaves training that evening, he feels exhausted, but it's a good exhaustion, the kind that comes from knowing you've done everything you could. But he isn't done yet. He checks his phone. Confirmation from the elite dealership he contacted yesterday. His new car will be ready by tomorrow morning. Palmer doesn't smile yet, though. There's still work to do. On the way home, he visualizes his next move, step by step. Not revenge in the traditional sense, no shouting matches, no online beef, just a cold, calculated response that'll silence everyone who doubted him. This isn't just about buying a car or proving some manager wrong. This is about the bigger picture, proving to himself and everyone else that Cole Palmer isn't just another footballer with talent. He's got something extra, a rare mentality, a determination that's genuinely ice cold. Tomorrow, the next chapter of this story unfolds. Palmer knows it's about to shock everyone. He's ready. Question is, are they? So let's fast forward a bit, shall we? It's match day at Stamford Bridge, and since that car dealership nonsense, Cole Palmer has been on an absolute madness. Goals? He's scoring them for fun. Assists? He's handing them out like sweets on Halloween. Chelsea fans who doubted his price tag suddenly realize they've landed a gem. Palmer isn't just good. He's quickly becoming Chelsea's most influential player, game after game. The stadium buzzes as Palmer walks onto the pitch, calm as ever, expression ice cold, fans chanting his name like he's been here for years. Remember, this was a lad who was told he wasn't good enough at City, who was laughed out of a dealership. Now he's the main man at Chelsea Football Club. Madness. As the match kicks off, it's clear Palmer's on another level tonight. First touch? Clean. Vision? Elite. Every pass and every move seems effortless. He threads a perfect through ball to Raheem Sterling, who slots it home, 1-0 Chelsea. Crowd erupts. Palmer calmly jogs back. Just another day at the office. Second half, Chelsea win a free kick, edge of the box. Everyone expects someone else to step up, maybe Enzo, maybe Sterling. But Palmer walks up, calmly placing the ball. Keeper sets the wall, crowd goes quiet. Bang. Top bins. Ice-cold finish. Stamford Bridge goes absolutely mental. Palmer jogs away, hands raised slightly like it's nothing. Commentators are losing it. "This lad is special. What a player Chelsea have got here." On social media, the tone has completely shifted. The memes mocking Palmer's dealership incident are replaced with clips of his goal. Captions like, "Cole Palmer is actually unreal," and "City made a massive mistake letting this kid go." Even rival fans are forced to respect him. This lad can seriously play. After the match, Chelsea win comfortably, 3-0, Palmer grabbing another assist for good measure. As he walks off the pitch, fans chant louder, teammates congratulate him, but he stays ice cold. No wild celebrations, just a calm smile and a nod. This is business as usual now. Palmer's sending a message to everyone who ever doubted him. Underestimate me at your own risk. Back in the changing room, his phone blows up. Texts from old City teammates, pundits giving him praise, even ex-City fans admitting they miss him. Palmer chuckles quietly. Funny how quickly things change, but he doesn't respond, doesn't gloat. He's thinking about something else entirely. The next step, the bigger statement still to come. As he gets ready to leave Stamford Bridge, the gaffer, Mauricio Pochettino, pulls him aside. "Cole, mate," he says seriously. "Keep this up and you'll become a legend here." Palmer smiles, shaking his head modestly. "Just getting started, boss." He leaves the stadium, buzzing from another incredible performance, fans chanting his name even as he drives away. But in the back of his mind, he's still thinking about the dealership. Success is sweet, but Palmer knows the best part is yet to come. He's about to make a move off the pitch that'll silence every doubter, once and for all. And trust me, it's absolutely ice cold. All right, buckle up. Things are about to get tasty. Cole Palmer's been tearing it up on the pitch, earning plaudits left, right, and center, but football's just part of his story. Remember that car dealership manager who tossed him out like he was nothing? Yeah, well, Palmer hasn't forgotten him. He doesn't hold grudges, mind, but he's definitely keeping score. One afternoon, Palmer heads out of training and straight to London's most elite luxury dealership. The kind of place you need an appointment just to look at cars. This time, he's dressed a bit differently. No hoodie today, sharp jacket, subtle flecks of success, still understated though. He walks in casually, greeted instantly by staff who clearly recognize him. "Mr. Palmer, we've been expecting you," says the manager, smiling politely. Palmer nods, cool as you like. "Cheers. Just want something special, something custom-made," Palmer replies calmly, pointing casually at a gleaming, brand-new supercar parked in the center of the showroom. "That one. Can I take it today?" The manager, slightly stunned but clearly buzzing at the commission he's about to land, nods enthusiastically. "Absolutely, Mr. Palmer. We'll get everything sorted right away." Palmer relaxes, watching the staff hustle around him. There's no arrogance, no bragging, just quiet satisfaction. He knows exactly what he's doing. While they prepare the paperwork, Palmer's mind flashes back to that rainy day at the other dealership. He remembers every second, the manager's dismissive tone, security escorting him out, rain soaking through his clothes. Palmer almost smiles. Almost. An hour later, he's handed the keys. The new car is stunning, flashy, powerful, definitely the kind of whip you'd expect a Premier League star to own. Palmer slides into the driver's seat, adjusts the mirrors, and starts the engine. The roar echoes through the dealership, symbolic of the noise he's making in the football world. But Palmer's payback plan isn't complete yet. Nah, he's got one final stop to make. As he drives off, he heads straight back to the very dealership that embarrassed him, the scene of the disrespect. But today is very different. He's not the kid in a hoodie anymore. He's Chelsea's main man, rolling up in a brand new custom luxury car. Palmer parks right outside the front doors. Passers-by instantly recognize him. Phones come out, recording everything. Inside, the dealership manager spots the commotion, peers outside, and suddenly realizes exactly who's just arrived. His face goes pale, realizing his massive mistake. Palmer, calm as ever, steps out of his car, casually locking it. He stands in front of the dealership's large windows, perfectly visible. The manager rushes toward the door, trying to get his attention, suddenly desperate to make amends. Palmer meets his eyes through the glass and simply shakes his head. No words, no shouting, just an ice-cold stare that says everything. He calmly turns around, heading back to his car, leaving the manager speechless, frozen at the doorway. As he drives away, fans are already uploading clips to social media. Twitter goes mad. Palmer doesn't even look back. He's done exactly what he intended, made a statement so powerful it doesn't even need words. And believe me, what happens next is even better. Right, here we go, the moment we've all been waiting for. Cole Palmer, calm and composed as ever, parks his brand new supercar right outside that very same dealership that booted him out. The place that humiliated him, treated him like some random nobody. Today, though, things have flipped entirely. Palmer isn't the kid in a hoodie. He's the main man, the star player everyone's talking about, pulling up in a whip that would make even Cristiano Ronaldo nod in approval. He steps out of the car, looking every inch the Premier League superstar. Passers-by instantly clock him, phones already recording every second. It's like something straight out of a film. Perfect revenge, but no shouting, no confrontation, just ice-cold composure. Inside the dealership, things aren't quite so calm. Staff members quickly recognize Palmer through the massive glass windows. Jaws drop, whispers fly around the showroom. The dealership manager, the same bloke who'd once dismissed Palmer, is now sprinting from his office, eyes wide in panic, desperate to salvage the situation. Palmer walks slowly towards the door, just casually admiring the expensive cars as he passes. He doesn't enter yet, just stands at the entrance. A crowd gathers around him, fans taking selfies, people filming, excitement growing. Palmer calmly interacts with fans, signs a couple autographs, all the while noticing the dealership manager rushing towards him. "Mr. Palmer," the manager calls, voice shaky, now dripping with politeness. "So good to see you. I had no idea who you were last time. My sincerest apologies. Please come inside." Palmer smiles ever so slightly. He's waited patiently for this moment, not out of spite, but just to make a point. He steps inside, quietly examining the cars. Staff hover anxiously, afraid to even approach him now. "You know," Palmer finally says, breaking the silence, his voice calm yet firm. "A couple of weeks ago, you judged me on how I looked, didn't think I belonged here. That's fair enough, I suppose. Everyone makes mistakes." The manager nervously tries to interrupt, mumbling apologies, excuses, but Palmer calmly raises his hand, stopping him dead. "But see, mate," Palmer continues coolly, "the problem is, you treated me like I was nobody. The irony is, if you'd taken a second longer, you'd have realized I was exactly the type of person you'd love as a customer." The manager nods furiously, clearly embarrassed. Yes, of course." Palmer interrupts gently again, ice-cold confidence radiating from him. "Nah, I get it. You didn't know. But maybe next time, treat everyone with respect. You never know who they might turn out to be." Absolute silence fills the dealership. Staff watch awkwardly, stunned. The manager, red-faced, speechless, just nods again. Palmer takes one last glance around the dealership, calmly assessing the cars he once considered buying, then turns and walks back to his own, far better, car parked outside. As he leaves, the crowd cheers, fans applauding, cameras flashing. Palmer drives off without another glance back, leaving the dealership manager humiliated, realizing he's just witnessed the greatest mic-drop moment in recent memory. And trust me, this isn't even the best part yet. All right, lads, brace yourselves, because this is about as ice-cold as it gets. Cole Palmer's just dropped the ultimate mic on that dealership manager who tried humiliating him. He's walking back to his supercar parked outside, fans absolutely buzzing, cameras rolling, social media ready to explode. He could have shouted, he could have caused a scene, but Palmer's cooler than that. He knows silence is louder than any argument. Just as he's about to get into his car, Palmer stops for a second. He turns back slightly and sees the dealership manager still standing frozen at the entrance, absolutely shattered by what just happened. Palmer gives a slight smirk. No arrogance, just pure, quiet confidence. Then, calmly and deliberately, he raises his hand, points casually back at the dealership, and says clearly, so everyone can hear, "Nah, mate, I'm good." Absolute silence. Those 4 words land like a knockout punch. Fans nearby erupt in cheers, phones capturing every second. Twitter is seconds away from blowing up. Palmer doesn't say anything else, doesn't need to. He just gets in the car, starts the engine, the roar echoing down the street, and drives off slowly, smoothly, like nothing happened. Inside the dealership, staff stare at their manager, now bright red and speechless. The man who once thought Palmer wasn't good enough now realizes he's just been embarrassed in front of the whole city. And honestly, he deserved it. Palmer's cold response wasn't just about him. It was a message to anyone who's ever underestimated someone based on appearances. As Palmer cruises away from the scene, notifications explode on his phone. Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, everyone sharing videos of the moment. The caption, "Nah, mate, I'm good," is already trending. Teammates are messaging him, laughing, applauding him for handling it perfectly. Even rival fans can't help but respect the sheer calmness of it all. But Palmer doesn't get caught up in the hype. He stays ice cold, eyes on the road, fully aware he's just pulled off something special. His mind drifts back to every coach, every critic, every pundit who ever said he wouldn't make it. All those moments he quietly listened, nodded politely, and promised himself he'd prove them wrong someday. Well, today was that day. He's not angry, never has been. He's grateful, because those doubts, those moments of disrespect, made him who he is today, confident, successful, and ice-cold under pressure. When Palmer finally arrives home, he casually scrolls through his social media. The internet loves it. Memes everywhere, pundits praising his maturity, fans dubbing it the coldest moment of the year. But Palmer just smiles quietly. He's already focused on the next game, the next challenge, always thinking ahead. The message is clear now. Cole Palmer isn't just talented. He's got the mentality of an elite footballer. He knows how to silence doubters without saying much at all. But hold tight, lads. There's more. Because Palmer isn't finished yet. His cold response is about to become legendary for reasons beyond what anyone expects. And trust me, what comes next is absolutely massive. Right then, boys, this is where the story goes next level. Cole Palmer's just dropped one of the coldest lines of the year, gone viral all over socials, and now he's driving home, still cool as you like. Outside, London's buzzing about him. Inside his brand new car, he's calm, quiet, reflective. This drive isn't just about heading home, it's symbolic. It's Palmer finally realizing he's arrived. He isn't just a promising young player anymore, he's now a proper star. Driving through London's busy streets, Palmer thinks back to when he was younger, back to the Man City Academy days, training in Manchester's cold weather, dreaming of being exactly where he is right now. He remembers the critics, the doubters, all the people who said he wasn't good enough. And now, after everything, he silenced them all, not by shouting, but by achieving. His phone keeps buzzing beside him, texts from teammates, family, pundits, and even former rivals congratulating him. Everyone seems to understand exactly what that moment at the dealership meant. It wasn't just revenge, it was Palmer showing everyone that success is louder than words. As Palmer navigates the traffic, a thought suddenly hits him. He realizes he's spent his whole life proving people wrong. But now what? He's finally proven himself beyond any doubt. What comes next? Complacency isn't an option. Palmer knows football is ruthless. 1 minute you're on top, the next you're forgotten. Palmer smiles to himself, nodding slightly. He's achieved plenty, but he's nowhere near finished. He wants more goals, more trophies, more moments like today. This hunger isn't fueled by anger or revenge, it's driven by the pure joy of proving himself right, rather than proving everyone else wrong. Arriving home, Palmer parks his car, stepping out into the quiet of his driveway. No cameras here, no crowds, just silence. It's a contrast from the chaos earlier, but he prefers it this way. It's easier to think clearly. He walks inside, throws his keys onto the counter, and sits down for a moment, taking a deep breath. On TV, pundits are already discussing him, debating whether he can sustain this form, whether he can become a Chelsea legend. Palmer listens briefly, shakes his head slightly, and turns it off. He doesn't need their approval anymore. He's learned to trust himself. Palmer heads outside to his back garden, staring up at the London sky. Everything feels different now. He remembers how easily people judged him at the dealership and smiles softly. Today was important, but it's only the start. Palmer knows he's destined for even bigger moments, on even bigger stages. Tomorrow he'll be back at training, working harder than ever, staying humble, staying hungry. Today's win was sweet, but Palmer knows football moves fast. One success doesn't define him. Consistency does. He's not after quick viral moments. He's after legacy, after greatness. He turns back towards his house, determination clear on his face. Palmer's made his statement. Now it's time to keep delivering. He knows exactly what he wants next. More trophies, more records, and more moments that leave everyone watching speechless. And lads, believe me, Cole Palmer's story is far from over. All right, lads, let's dive straight back in. Remember that dealership incident with Cole Palmer? Yeah, the whole, "Nah, mate, I'm good" moment? Well, overnight, it's absolutely blown up. Social media has gone into meltdown mode. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everyone's talking about Cole Palmer's ice-cold comeback. Clips have racked up millions of views, memes are flying everywhere, and that dealership manager has become the face of every joke imaginable. Palmer wakes up the next morning, phone absolutely exploding with notifications. He scrolls casually, shaking his head and chuckling quietly. His simple four-word response has become iconic. Every big football page is reposting it. Lad Bible, Sport Bible, even major clubs and famous players are sharing it around. Gary Linekers tweeted it, calling Palmer's response classy and brilliant. True Geordie himself has talked about it on stream, applauding the young lad for staying ice-cold under pressure. But Palmer isn't swept up in all this noise. Nah, he's calm, just enjoying the madness quietly. He heads to Chelsea's training ground like nothing's changed, but as soon as he steps out of his car, teammates are all over him. Raheem Sterling laughs, shouting, "Nah, mate, I'm good," from across the car park. Enzo Fernandez claps sarcastically, smiling broadly. Thiago Silva gives him an approving nod, clearly respecting Palmer's maturity. Even Mauricio Pochettino has a playful smirk, shaking his head at the chaos his young star caused. Training is different today. More cameras, more journalists wanting a piece of Cole Palmer. Everyone wants to know how he feels about becoming an overnight internet sensation. But Palmer remains cool, just like always. When asked about it during a quick media interview, Palmer simply shrugs and smiles. "Honestly, I didn't do anything special. Just treated someone the way they treated me. Maybe people can learn from it. Never judge someone based on appearance alone." Fans love this even more. Palmer's humble response fuels his reputation. People are starting to realize he's more than just another young baller. He's got serious class off the pitch, too. The viral video isn't just about revenge or embarrassment. It's a message, loud and clear, about respect. Meanwhile, back at the dealership, business has slowed to a crawl. Online reviews are tanking, people are boycotting, and the manager realizes he made possibly the biggest mistake of his career. His moment of arrogance has cost him more than a sale. It's cost his reputation. Palmer sees the backlash online and briefly considers saying something to calm it down, but he decides against it. He's made his point clearly enough. No need to twist the knife. The lesson is obvious. Treat everyone with respect, because you never know who they might be. That night, Palmer sits back at home, quietly reflecting on everything. One simple interaction has changed his public perception forever, but he knows football is still his priority. All this viral stuff is great, but tomorrow's another training session, another match to prepare for, and Cole Palmer's not done yet, not even close. This moment was massive, but he knows something even bigger is coming soon. And trust me, lads, the next chapter, it's the icing on the cake. All right, lads, we've reached the grand finale, the chapter everyone's been waiting for, the dealership drama, sorted, the viral moment, done. Cole Palmer's already proven himself ice cold off the pitch, but now it's time to seal the deal on it. Weeks pass, and Palmer's still bossing it at Chelsea. Goals keep coming, assists keep piling up, and fans are absolutely loving him. His name is ringing out around Stamford Bridge every week. But now, there's one match that stands out from all the rest. Chelsea versus Manchester City. Palmer's former club, the place that let him go, is visiting Stamford Bridge. If there's ever a moment for Palmer to prove how wrong City were, it's right now. Match day arrives, and London is buzzing. All eyes are on Palmer. Media outlets hyping the Palmer versus Pep storyline. On the pitch, warm-ups begin, and Palmer looks as calm and composed as ever. No nerves, no drama, just ice-cold focus. Guardiola watches quietly from the sideline, fully aware he's about to face the kid he let slip through his fingers. Kickoff comes, and immediately the game's intense. City dominate possession early, but Chelsea counter hard. Palmer's first touches are silky smooth, linking up effortlessly with Sterling and Mudryk. You can tell he's desperate to score, but he's staying patient, waiting for his moment. Second half arrives, still 0-0, tension growing. Finally, Chelsea win a penalty. Raheem Sterling brought down in the box. The crowd holds its breath. Who steps up? You guessed it. Cole Palmer, ice cold, ball tucked firmly under his arm. He places it carefully on the spot, keeper staring him down, City players trying mind games, fans roaring. Palmer blocks everything out. Pure tunnel vision. He remembers every moment City doubted him, every minute he spent overlooked on their bench. He knows exactly where this ball's going. Referee blows the whistle. Palmer calmly jogs up, sends Ederson the wrong way, side-foots it perfectly into the corner. Stamford Bridge erupts. Absolute scenes. Palmer barely celebrates, just smiles slightly, arms outstretched, ice-cold celebration. Guardiola, watching from the touchline, nods slowly. He knows exactly what he lost. Chelsea hold on for a massive 1-0 win. After the final whistle, Palmer is swarmed by teammates, fans chanting his name louder than ever. But Palmer stays humble. He shakes hands respectfully with his former teammates, gives Guardiola a polite nod, and quietly walks off the pitch. In his post-match interview, reporters are desperate for drama, asking Palmer if he felt extra motivation playing against City. Palmer smiles, ice cold as always. Nah, mate, it wasn't personal. City made their choice. I'm just here proving Chelsea right, rather than proving anyone wrong. Fans online go mad. Another viral Palmer moment. Guardiola later admits publicly he regrets letting Palmer go, saying, "He's a special player. We made a mistake." At home that night, Palmer sits quietly, watching match highlights. He feels nothing but calm satisfaction, not from revenge, but from success. He's done exactly what he always planned, proven everyone wrong by achieving greatness. He didn't shout, didn't argue, didn't complain. He simply let success speak for itself. Palmer knows this is just the beginning. One moment doesn't define him. Consistency does. But tonight, at least, he enjoys knowing he silenced every doubter, every critic, every person who ever underestimated him. Cole Palmer isn't just Chelsea's future now, he's football's present, ice cold on and off the pitch. And lads, believe me, this kid is just getting started.